these are completely dry now, and as you can see, there is a lot of excess paper that still kind of needs to be rubbed off. If you look closely down here, there's some fibers that I still need to lift off and remove. I probably will not do that because I plan on taking this even further. So to get meticulous at this point may be completely unnecessary for me. Now, if you're the sort who needs to have everything meticulous so that you can move on, which is, I totally respect and appreciate, it's real. You may want to take your sponge with a tiny, tiny bit of moisture and do some more scrubbing around the areas where you can see that there's still fiber, or a toothbrush. I wouldn't go crazy with tons of water at this point. Just a little bit of moisture will go a long way. There seems to be more on this one than on this one for me. This one is a lot clearer. So that would be my recommendation to you, or you can wait until a later stage to remove the fibers, or you can just leave them as they are, because they also do add a kind of a cool ghostly sort of dimension to things. So I am going to tell you now where we are going to go next. We are going to do a few different isolated processes that are then going to take us into one final process where we combine everything. The next thing we're going to do is return to our drawing. I want you to grab a few sheets of paper. Again, I have mixed media art paper and newsprint, and make sure that you're able to do the size, fit the size of your portrait here onto this sheet of paper. If you want to be really adventurous, you can try different sizes of things, but again, for demonstration purposes, this is what I suggest. So grab a pencil and grab any kind of writing instrument that felt good to you when you were doing your smaller drawings. Anything that you felt you had a great result from, if it's water-soluble crayon or charcoal, whatever thing got you excited, grab those items again. And we are going to literally replicate that process on these larger sheets of paper using these transfers. So choose one that works for you and just do one at a time. I am going to work with Edna, so I'm going to put Elsie aside, and I am going to, again, just quickly, without, overthinking too much, I'm going to draw the ancestor. And I'm going to try to get the right size, as I mentioned before. That's my only endeavor. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to give it a try. So I've got her hair and her hairline. And I've got this broken away bit here, so maybe I can have a little fun with that. Just do some squiggles. Eyebrow, other eyebrow, eye. Again, not trying to be perfect, not trying to get the right exact look, just going for expression. And then I think I want to add some water, get some of that real line blur happening where the bleed happens. Maybe add a little bit of charcoal. Get something fun happening here. Add a little flair, a little pizzazz. And I'm done. If you wanted to, you could come in and add some color with your water-soluble crayon. It's kind of fun, right? hit that water and pick it up with your writing tool that you're using, your medium. I could go a little bit cuckoo here, couldn't I? Start just letting myself have a little fun. There's one. And now I'm going to use this pen. I've got the same ancestor. I'm going to do the same ancestor a few times. So we've got Edna that we're working with. Let's see how many times we can draw her quickly. You'll notice I'm kind of using the same, I start here and I go here, and then, I go over here, and then I start here and go here. Maybe try to mix that up a little bit for yourself. I've got a white here. I'm going to just kind of drag around just out of curiosity to see what will happen if I use it. Here's a yellow water soluble, doing this before the water this time. Again, you're just feeling into yourself as you do this. What feels good? What are you enjoying as you're working? Does this feel really freaking good while you're doing it? Then keep doing it. Follow your feelings. Okay, here's another one. These are fast. They're happening really quick. What do I want this time? This or this? I think this time what I want to do is I want to just do eyes. Again, I'm kind of trying to do the same size-ish, and I'll do a nose, do some lips. Now let's do it again. Let's grab some eyes. Really loose drawing. Maybe just some lips this time. If there's anything else that you can discern from this image, if there's like buttons, you just try to do a few little buttons. What else is there? There's some lace, a lace collar. So maybe try to do your lace. You're really just exercising your eye and your looseness, and you are not trying to be perfect. You're just having fun. And then coming in with your water again. You may want to use a spray bottle. I'm not a fan of spray bottles. I don't like this sort of mist look. I like something that's a lot more chaotic, personally. Got some alcohol ink I'm going to drop down. See what happens if I start mixing stuff up a little bit, get a little crazy. This is just plain old black ink. You may also want to take other types of mediums. As mentioned, the water-soluble crayons. Maybe you want to grab a paintbrush and a thinner paintbrush and some paint, and do some eyes, noses, mouths that way. Just the point is to have a lot of fun and explore all over your page and see how many new and exciting techniques you can sort of invent for yourself through your willingness to explore. You could start painting in your buttons or whatever other things that you're pulling out of your image to draw. And yes, they're going to be comic booky. They're going to be a bit whimsical, but have fun with it. Enjoy it. Maybe you want to do something like this. where you take your water and you paint with your water on your page. Get a little bit sloppy with it. Do nice puddles of water on the, the shapes that you're trying to match from your page. So I've got a face here. And then take your ink and drop it in. Let it do its thing. I think this will probably work best on the mixed media paper. You can take your water-soluble crayons and fill in the spaces. And you start to just have some really interesting shapes and things that you can use for any purpose. You can, let's try the same thing here. We've got a eye, pair of eyes. This is the mixed media paper, so it's a bit thicker. It's more, the water is not going to soak all the way through immediately. And look at those amazing, cool shapes. So it's not an eye. You're starting with one thing and you are continuously carrying it further and further and further. I've got some gray alcohol ink here. We can squirt in. It's a super deep gray. It's almost like a black. And just keep filling up your papers. I would leave this untouched, the head and the face of the portrait area. But if you have any extra space on your papers, go ahead and start filling them in. Do some scribbles, maybe there are some shapes that are meaningful to you that you want to start incorporating in. Just some splashes of paint and some splashes of color. Do that as well. And set those aside for now. If you'd like to do, I would say do as many as you can. Just keep having fun, keep pushing it further, keep playing, keep exploring, grab anything and everything that you can think of to splash around on your surface and see where it takes you. And again, we'll be bringing this all together at the end. I'm really drawn to this image that's ghostily appeared on my surface here, and it's still a bit damp, but what I want to do is I want to play a little bit with bringing out the image, and I am going to use my charcoal because the charcoal isn't going to, if I were to go over this, the wetness with a Sharpie, it would ruin the Sharpie. So I want to choose something that's not going to be ruined by water, but is going to in fact be somewhat enhanced by water. And I am going to bring out the image just like that. So there are all sorts of things that you can do to really, really enjoy and enhance and have fun with a source image in a really, really whimsical and expressive way that is going to make a very interesting portrait. Again, it's not going to necessarily look just like your ancestor, but that is not what we're going for here. We're just going for expressing story and spending a little time and thought about our ancestors and honoring the fact that we are who we are because they were who they were. And every single decision that they made in their lives has an impact and an effect on our lives. And we're completely bound together with them, whether we like it or not, whether we acknowledge them or not. They are a part of us and we are a part of them. And there is a great amount of power that lives in the place that chooses to acknowledge that we are them and they are us, for better or for worse. And to bind together consciously the stories of our ancestors with our own lives can be an immensely, oh gosh, there just really aren't very many words, enlightening, I guess, way to approach our heritage and our own acknowledgement of the gifts and the joys of who we are and how we got to where we are. And maybe I now want to take the same paintbrush. This is very spontaneously emerging, you guys. I've not planned this. Take this paintbrush and start to, create some words around my ancestor who's emerged here. Maybe it's actual words, maybe it's symbols of words, maybe it's quite consciously writing down something that pertains to their history. In 1863, he came to the shipyard. Stuff like that. And really explore, you guys. This is about exploring possibilities of what you can do. How can you tell this story? Does a story want to be told in words? Do you even have the words? If you don't have the words, how can you get the words? Where are the words? Are they inside of you? Are they inside a family Bible? Are they on Ancestry.com? Are they in the library? Are they in the ethers and you just need to close your eyes and get out a pen and start writing? These are all things that are possible when you sit and create. You create your own world. You create your own masterpiece, and every choice you make, just like our ancestors, every choice they made lines up and creates our reality and combines obviously with our choices and how we choose to work with what we've been given. As you are in art, you are in life. As you are in life, you are in art. And so we can combine the immense list of gifts, traumas, tragedies, choices, consequences that our ancestors have handed to us into our own set of choices, consequences, triumphs, tragedies, gifts, and our art materials. And we can come up with an incredible masterpiece if we choose to allow that. Or we can just, play the victim and play dead and, pretend that life happens to us instead of by us and kind of create a big, huge mess. It's our choice, isn't it? When I sat down to record this lesson, I did not expect this fellow to emerge, and I'm pretty glad he did. And what's interesting is I'm calling him he, but he emerged from Edna. And this, you guys, is exactly the point of this lesson, to allow one thing to lead you to another and to explore in your own world, in your own way, and not get rigidly focused on one thing or one technique or one result, but to let yourself be completely swept away by your own wanderings and let one thing bleed into the next. And so in the end, you have this beautiful compilation of your own endeavors and your own impulses and following what feels good. And then we bring the story together, which we will be doing here in a moment, even further.